So Jonzzy, how was life, man?
Yeah, it's not bad. It's been pretty crazy here in Melbourne. We have been in lockdown. I think one of the almost the hardest lockdowns globally. Um, the rest of Australia is okay. There's not many cases of COVID, but in Melbourne we are still in lockdown. So that means we can't go we have to stay within 5 kilometers of our house. We have to um, there's a lot of restrictions and stuff going on. So I think it's been pretty challenging actually, like the last I guess 2 months. But at the same time, being a streamer and being content creator, it's not as if I really have to venture too far away from home to do my job. So
Yeah.
yeah, what about you, mate?
Well, I just found out that I did not make Twitch partner, so there's
Oh
that.
no, just then.
Yeah, I just found
Oh,
out
I'm
like right
sorry.
before this.
Sorry to hear that, mate.
No, it's all right. I was
That's
told that it usually takes 2 or 3 tries, unless your numbers are like
yeah,
insane. So I was
yeah,
kind of
yeah. Right.
expecting it.
Yeah, right. Okay. No, I think yeah, from what I've heard as well, I know a couple of people who have been doing really well. They've applied, they've been knocked back, and then when they've applied again in a couple of weeks, usually it's like 2 or 3 weeks, I think you can apply again. They've been accepted in like 3 or 4 days. So I think from what I gather from the Twitch Partners program, I think it's they more so just want to see that you're consistently bringing in those numbers, and also I guess at the end of the day, it's a business, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, no, but I'm sorry to hear that, mate. Don't at all take it at heart at all, because I think
I'm not. Yeah.
you're a fantastic content creator, mate. Like hands
I'm
down.
trying. I'm kind of in a
Um,
weird spot right now, trying to
yeah,
figure out where I want to go with things, because
yeah,
here in the U.S. everybody's gone back to school and work, so TikTok's just kind of it's different.
yeah. Do you want to talk about that? Do you want to talk about
Sure.
TikTok? Because
Yeah.
I could, I could wheel on about TikTok, but um, yeah. I mean, I feel that I'm sure I share the same sentiments. I mean, when I started gaining traction on TikTok 2, 3 months ago. Video, I'd post a video and I would not worry. I would not have any thought in my mind around a video if it was going to do well, if it was going to not do well, if it was going to be received well, if it wasn't going to be received well. It just seemed that irrelevant of what I posted. It got pushed out to the right people, and it was there wasn't really any stress that came with it. Hark forward 2 months, 2, 3 months. I now I look at all of my videos before I post. I think about if it's going to hit the right audience, if it's got the right hashtags, if hashtags matter, if I'm choosing the right sound. Is this a sound that's trending? Is it not trending? Should I not use a sound? Um, and it's to the point now where I am almost considering taking like a couple of days break just to reset from it all, because it's just yeah, it can be demotivating when you spend sometimes I spend 4 hours, 3, 4 hours on a TikTok, post it up and it flops. And then I spend 10 seconds recording a little tiny meme video and it goes really well. And then you think, well, I need to spend my time better. And then you flip it around and then it does the opposite thing. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's my view. And what about yourself? What are you
I know a
feeling?
couple people right now who are kind of taking a break. I feel like it's just like I said, it's in a weird spot right now with everybody going
Mm,
back and to normal life in whatever sense that is right now.
yeah.
Um, myself, I moved out to California to. Well, I was stationed there in the military, but when
Yeah.
I got out, I decided to stay in California because I wanted to go work in Hollywood. And
Yeah.
I had a job lined up, but everything shut down, so it's kind of put on hold.
Sure.
And I mean, it's gotten to a point where I can pay the bills with all this stuff. And then my girlfriend, she's a full time student, she's still getting
Yeah.
unemployment, but the idea is that what she's going to school for, she should be able to make decent money once she's done with that.
Yeah.
And then I'm still waiting on a big unemployment check to come, but
Yeah.
I was actually adopted by my stepfather.
Okay. Yep. Yep. Yep.
So when they changed my name, now two names come up in like the system. So
So
I've been
there's
waiting a couple
always a bit
months.
of, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
No, no, no. Yeah, I can see that could be frustrating as well.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like something about there's always something about that where like one seemingly simple sort of situation turns into just a nightmare in terms of getting stuff like that.
yeah.
But so what is your girlfriend studying? If you don't mind
So
me
she's
asking.
doing hair and makeup. She's either
Okay,
gonna
yeah, yeah.
yeah, she's either gonna do it for like weddings or maybe
I
even
see.
work in the
Yeah,
film industry herself.
that's
But
awesome. That's really really cool.
now
So
that I'm
you,
not,
yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
No, go go. Geezer.
I'm for some reason I'm wondering, I like what kind of delay is there? I mean, there's gotta be some kind of delay, right?
Has to be
Because you're
some.
all the
Yeah, I
way.
mean, we're ages away. Has to be
Yeah.
something. There has to be a minor delay. I think we'll probably end up doing that a couple of times where we both speak at the
Yeah.
same time.
I will say this is the first like international
Well,
episode I've done. So
I feel privileged.
yeah,
Exciting.
this is
New
the 12th
frontier.
episode. I've been
Excellent.
doing
Yeah,
one a week.
that's awesome, man. I think that's um I guess to quickly go on that. I mean, if you think about um the situation that we're sort of in, it is all about how can you, I guess, I'm not saying this is necessarily a revenue stream at the moment, but how can you, I guess, expand your options and your horizons in, and I think that it would be, I guess, naive to just be doing Twitch or just be doing TikTok or just be doing YouTube. I think it's yeah, I think that's a really important point, I guess. And I think that when I think about, yeah, it's weird when I think about that, it all sort of becomes a little bit overwhelming as well. When you think, okay, I've got to do, I'm a streamer, but then people come in and they say, but what about if I can't make a stream? What about YouTube? Where are your YouTube clips? And then people on TikTok say, can you post more clips of your Twitch on TikTok? I was like, well, I can, but it means my TikTok tanks. So yeah, lots of things to consider there.
Yeah. I mean, so I've YouTube is kind of a weird thing because I don't know how
Mm,
much time to put into it.
yeah,
Because it seems like it's like the second hardest thing to grow on, besides Twitch.
yeah,
So I do have close to 4,000 subscribers on there. So each
yeah,
podcast, the video version gets a couple hundred
yeah,
views.
yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out like if there's a way to market that. I did just make like a TikTok just for the podcast, so I
Nice.
might try messing around with that.
Yeah,
You
for
know?
sure. In any way that you can, yeah, any way really, any way
Yeah.
you can push it out, and yeah,
Either way, it's
yeah,
more
yeah,
work.
yeah.
Everything's more work, man.
That's exactly right. Yep, yep, exactly. Um, yeah, like I think because for the last 5 years, I've been like my background is I've been a consultant for the last management consultant for the last 4 to 5 years, and I was doing that full time, and then started streaming part time while working full time. And even when I was doing that, like it was manageable, but there was still stresses of if you finish one work, how does it leak into the other? Or
Yeah.
how does a day that you may not necessarily have had many wins at work, or it might have just been a difficult day, how does that translate into your stream? Um, and now going forward, like I lost 2 months ago, I was made redundant because of COVID, and it was like a situation where, yeah, it was kind of ended up being a little bit of a blessing in disguise because it sort of allowed me to reset and have a think about what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Um, and I think I'm sort of in a similar situation to you, where just sort of considering and weighing up everything. Because it is, outside looking in, it may not look like there's much to being a streamer, but I think me and you can both attest to there being a lot more work than maybe what it may seem.
Yeah. There's a reason
Yeah,
why there's only so many partners, man. It's so much
yeah,
work.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It is. It's one of those things where it's a little bit discouraging, but at the same time, on the flip side, it is also motivating to know that aren't that many
Yeah.
in a sense. Yeah, but yeah. So question for you: how's your so you're a main like Call of Duty streamer in a sense, but you play variety.
Yeah, I've been focused on Call of Duty more because I got a tournament coming up on Saturday. It's my
Yeah.
first one,
Oh,
so
exciting!
we'll see how that
That's really
goes.
cool. Yeah, that'll be awesome. I'll have to tune in for
Yeah,
sure.
we'll see. I'm nervous.
So in terms of like, if you were to switch game, so taking a stream for example, how do your viewers sort of react to if you switch up games?
It depends on the game. The biggest thing that I've noticed is that your numbers play a big part in like what games you can play. It's
Mm,
like right now I'm hovering around like 90 to 100 average,
yeah,
um, which is down from like 150 before everybody went back to work and stuff.
yeah,
Um, I mean, I'll have a stream here and there, but it's like I'll average 115, 116 for
yeah,
four
yeah,
hours. It's like a
yeah,
roll of the dice sometimes.
yeah,
But I've noticed like I was playing Phasmophobia, the new scary game that everybody's playing,
yep,
right? I was playing that a couple days after it came out, and I was doing great. That was one
yeah,
of my best streams in a while. There was like 120
yeah,
people just watching me play that
yeah,
game, and then a couple days later, that game had blown up, and now there's 200,000 people watching it,
yep,
and the big streamers are playing it, and I
yeah,
mean, my numbers went from I switched over from Call of Duty. I had like 90 people watching, and it just went down to like 50, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna keep playing this, but stream's over because like I just I knew my partner application's just sitting there, and
yeah,
they're watching
yeah, yeah,
everything.
yeah. I. It's funny you say that. I had a similar situation 3 days ago. Was playing Rocket League, and I just play. Recently, I've been doing Rocket League custom games because I find it really easy to just bring viewers in and
Yeah,
out without having to bring them into Discord or have a queue. I just sort of memorize my friends list. They can add me on Epic, and I can bring them in and out, and that's really cool. And then I switched over to Phasmophobia, um, and it wasn't one of my best streams. I think I was sitting on an 80 think I was sitting on 80 viewers when I switched over, which was fine. And then switching over, yeah, when I switched over, um, numbers just sort of started dropping and they went up a little bit, but then we had audio issues. And it's really one of those things where sometimes when it goes bad, there's just nothing you can really do about it. And you just have to stick with it. And I think
yeah,
I will be, I'm transparent in saying that there are times where I will just end the stream because I'm like, this isn't working.
okay,
I try to in terms of not just ending the stream at like I've started an
yeah,
hour in, but I mean like I might end the stream slightly early if I'm just maybe not feeling it, or if I'm feeling like that my viewers aren't engaged.
yeah,
Um, and I think that um, you know I could there's other side of the coin where it's like you should stick through it and whatnot. But I think that at the end of the day, if you're not necessarily enjoying the stream as much as you might want to, then your viewers probably aren't as well.
yeah, yeah. One thing that I've noticed is that when I'm high energy and I'm having a good time, the numbers don't fluctuate as much for sure.
Yeah,
Like it definitely
agreed,
keeps their
agreed.
attention.
Yep,
Um, I've started playing with there's the people that hang out, and then there's been regulars that
yep,
have started to kind of emerge. There's some other streamers
mhm,
that I played with recently, and so I started playing like Search and Destroy with them. So it's like a party
yep.
of six, and we would just rotate out the bottom two,
Nice.
on the scoreboard, and
That's
that
good.
seems to work
That's
really
good.
well.
Yeah,
So
that's really good. That's not actually a bad idea. I was trying to think because there's always ways. It is almost an interesting topic for discussion. Viewer games.
hmm
Um, I think that the more creative you can be, the better
yeah,
as well. That sounds really cool. I might actually pocket that idea for another time. That's really cool. Um, yeah, it's then I think there's the other flip side where there are some of your viewers that only tune in for, and I think this is the interesting part of if you fully go down the variety streamer path, where if you're a variety streamer, people sometimes don't really actually come to watch the gameplay. They come to just hang out and be part of the stream. And then the
Yeah.
flip side, where it's like if you're a streamer who mains a game and then maybe every now and then dabbles in different games, that's where I find you get the situations where people will come in just for the main game and leave more regularly when you switch games. As opposed to with variety, people kind of come to accept that, this he's playing this game today. That's cool.
Yeah.
Um, but then yeah, it's then it kind of comes down to a sense of where does your identity sort of sit with being a variety streamer, and it can be I find it, yeah, it can be challenging in a sense to think about that as well. But
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. So how have your views on TikTok been? I've seen some here and there. That's why I reached
yeah.
out.
So um, it's strange. I had a good patch. I had a bad patch where I was telling myself that there must be something wrong. I think I might be shadow banned. I'm not really sure what's going on. But then like I was still getting views. They just weren't getting pushed out to FYP. Um, and I was thinking about it, and I had a look through my messages directly from TikTok, and I had something that I didn't notice was that I actually got one of my videos from a while ago removed for a content violation. It was just I think it was one of the second videos that I uploaded, and it was just there wasn't really anything wrong with it, but it just got taken down, and I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. But it seemed to coincide with my views dropping. I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll just stick it out, and I stuck it out. I was copying, very, very like almost 75% less views than I would probably be expecting.
Yeah.
Um, and then I had a patch where it felt it felt like I had the magic touch. Like I could just post anything I wanted and it would just blow up. And when that happens, you feel confident, you feel on top of the world, you feel like you don't have any doubts with the content you're making. And then fast forward 2 weeks and I watch my videos completely just flop.
Yep.
And I don't feel like my content's changed. And then I have a look through my messages from TikTok and I get another one of my videos that had, I think it was like 1.6 million got muted.
Hmm.
But they didn't give me a reason why it was muted. They just muted it
Yeah.
and didn't give me an option to appeal it. I looked back on the video. There was nothing really. There was nothing other than maybe some music um, in the background of the stream that was very, very, because it was a Twitch clip.
Yeah.
So look, that it boggles me that, and it boggles and bothers me that I don't know what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that, for someone that has shown, I mean, me and you both have obviously shown a lot of growth on Twitch through TikTok. It bothers me that TikTok is so unreliable that it starts to affect my Twitch streams.
Yeah.
Um, you know, things like numbers, things like my general well-being during the streams. It's a really interesting um and sort of scary topic. What about yourself? I mean, what have you sort of felt?
So I've seen probably about 2.5, 3 weeks ago, I saw a big drop off in views. I like I said, I think it's a combination of TikTok just being unreliable. It kind of comes in waves.
Yeah.
Like when I first started to get views and stuff to where people would go over to my Twitch, you know,
Yep.
um, it was like it just shot up really fast and then it was like slow down, you know. I mean during that first wave, I peaked at like 623 viewers on Twitch.
Yeah. It's
Like it was just
crazy.
insane.
Yeah.
Um, and then back down, and then I had like a decent wave,
Yeah.
and then about 2.5, 3 weeks ago, it's just kind of steadied out, and I'm just trying to figure out like where to go with my content, and I think they can kind of see that too. Things only work for so long until you got to change them
Yep.
up.
Yep.
But so I think it's a combination of the content changing. Um, my girlfriend isn't in them as much because her school is just getting it's ramping up for her.
Yep.
She's going back, so she's not going to be in them as much.
Yep.
And then the other thing is I noticed that the whole like couple TikTok thing where like, she'll like come in and ask how the stream went or something like that.
Yeah.
That worked for a while, but now everybody's doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I told
So
my girlfriend, I was like, it's time to change that.
yeah, I think that's what I feel. That so it's a funny thing because in my mind, I think TikTok algorithm without getting too into the tinfoil hat sort of situation, but I feel
Yeah.
that TikTok like favors when your content is routine.
Hmm.
Um, but at the same time, by being routine with your content on TikTok, you are inevitably going to encounter people that copy and replicate and
Yeah.
um, steal as well, steal your content. And there's no real way to just stop that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm guilty of it. I've copied somebody's content
Oh,
before.
I,
Yeah.
I, I think that I can honestly, hand on my heart, say that I look through content. I look through TikTok for content ideas. Like,
Yeah.
no one's, if someone's originally creating amazing content all the time on TikTok, then they probably are fairly wasted doing it on TikTok. They should be doing it, you know, somewhere else.
Yeah. No, I did one video where I don't know how much I never know how much people watch my stuff, so I don't know if you
No, yeah, yeah, yeah.
saw it
I watch,
happen.
I watch. Yeah,
So I want to say like back in like mid-August,
yeah.
there was that it was one of those struggles of a small streamer videos.
Hmm.
I pretty much copied it like word for word. I just changed a few things. And
Yep.
like I had done a video just like that before because I mean all those videos are pretty much the same. People just kind of change
Yeah,
a little bit. But I was lazy and I just didn't change enough. And I mean, it wouldn't have blown up as much if Clicks hadn't watched it on his stream.
yeah.
I literally
Wow.
had
Okay.
like 1,000 people just come over and be like, "You copied so and so," and it blew up. It's
Yeah.
got like I think it's up to like 1.2 million.
Yeah, dude.
So
That's
the comments, it was like, "This sucks," but it got like however many thousand likes, and
yeah,
that was another
yeah,
big. That was probably the last big peak I had. Like
yeah,
the next stream after that, I started with like 400 people watching.
yeah.
You know,
Absolutely
and
crazy.
averaged like 160. So
Yeah. That it's yeah, definitely content can be funny one as well. Like I did a video not long ago, I think 2 weeks ago, and it was I didn't have any ill intent to it. And if anyone looks through all of my profile on my page, I think it's pretty clear to see that I just meme around, and it is all lighthearted. It is all a joke. But I did a console wars video
yeah,
because my first video went really well, and I was like, well, let's just replicate it, but I'll just replace it and put, instead of an Xbox there, I'll put a trash can. Well, that completely blew up. I had people sending me messages being like, you're an absolute clown doing console wars. Console wars are dead. Don't you respect all consoles? And I was thinking to myself, like, that just shows what the demographic of TikTok is like. That there are people that just jump on where it's like, oh, okay, console wars are dead. Well, that's it. Console wars are dead. Everyone, that's the norm. That's the meta. Console wars are dead. And but to your point about engagement, well, it completely blew up. Like, there were
yeah.
hundreds of comments of just people arguing, and I'm like, well, if that works, then. But I probably won't do it again.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday I tried something and it kind of had mixed feelings about it.
I did say this. I did say
Yeah.
this, and um, to be honest, I 100% understand where you're coming from, and I 100% get it. But I think the downside is that there are people out there that don't see that side,
Mhm.
and it's one of those things where I'm guilty of it as well, where I will post something up thinking that this is my opinion, this is my views, and that's fine. And then
Yeah.
yeah, I think people always tend to take things the wrong way or misconstrue things or not realize that it wasn't, for example, an analogy would be if you get some feedback from your boss at work. There's two types of people.
Yeah.
People who take it to heart and people who um accept that it is constructive.
Yeah.
It's yeah, and I know that there's no ill intent to it whatsoever. And the same thing sort of happened, if I take an example with my TikTok about console wars, I thought about it that night. I was thinking like, should I do a video where I like explain what happened? Should I do this? Should I do that? And I was thinking about it and I almost had a video posted, but then I was like, well, you know what? Let's just move on. I made a mistake. Whatever. And I think but then at the same time, there are times where I thought maybe I should have addressed it. Um, and I think that that's probably some thoughts that have been, I guess, going through your head as well, in terms of whether to address it, whether not to address it, whether to move on from it, whether to just, and it all
Yeah.
sort of, yeah, it's a hard choice sometimes because unless, yeah, I mean, I personally will admit that I went through almost every single comment on my video and copy pasted, hey, no ill intent, man, was just a joke, because people were literally commenting on my video saying unfollowed, unfollowed, cancelled, blah blah blah, and I was like,
Yeah.
what, for just one video?
Yeah.
Um,
That's what I went through with the struggles of a small streamer one for
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
There's people who
yeah,
are like, I had people, the ones that really uh meant something to me were the ones where people were like, I love your content, Danny, but just make more
yes,
original stuff. You know,
mm,
they were like,
mm-hmm.
just like, we don't want these videos from you. We want you to make your own
Yeah,
stuff because you're
yeah,
good
and
at
it's
it.
like,
And I
well,
was
okay,
like, okay,
yeah,
it's a good
yeah,
problem to have.
yeah,
You know?
exactly. Yeah, I think it's I look at, yeah, I look at the platform as a holistic, like I
Yeah.
holistically, if I holistically look at the platform, um, it is a little bit like Pandora's box, because now this is where like the tinfoil hats really start to come on. Um, I think about what I watch on TikTok now. I have to, because I think to myself, well, this isn't gaming related. I shouldn't watch this because it's gonna force videos to be pushed into my feed. It's gonna force my videos to be pushed outwards to a feed that may not necessarily be part of my demographic. And then that's when I drop my phone and I say, "You're crazy! Like, why are you
Yeah.
thinking like this?"
I mean, it really is like before it seemed like there was like a legit algorithm that people were trying to follow. And now it just seems like people are just taking shots in the dark. They don't know.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
The
hundred
only thing you
percent.
can like for sure figure out is like, okay, this is when people are at work. This is when people are at school. This is when people are going to bed. Like those are the times you
Yeah,
want to post, you know? It's like
yeah,
when people are getting out of school, work, going to
yeah,
bed, you know. So there's that part of it. And I've started to care more about that, and I mean,
yeah,
I tried some stuff out today, and I mean, it seems like that's definitely helping a little bit.
yeah,
Um, and then, I mean, it's always interesting if you post something late to wake up and see how it did. I don't know if you noticed that.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah,
That's
that's always
that's
interesting.
yeah. It's
So,
yeah. I mean, I also have tried posting videos when I'm live on Twitch
yeah,
and saying, linking it in my Twitch chat and saying, "Hey, come check it out." But what I found with that is my watch time takes a hit, because what'll happen is people will get the link in the Twitch, they'll go to the thing, they'll like and comment, and they won't watch the video. And if it's a longer video, then it's like, well, I guess, you know, it's going to look like people are just liking, commenting, and not watching the video.
yeah,
So there's a whole lot of different things to consider. And I think another added aspect for myself is that I have my viewership is 15% Australian, 15% US, and then some other countries mixed in. But if you think about my time zone, I have to start thinking about when I should post. Like for me, my most activities basically from the hours of 7 p.m. till 4 a.m.
yeah.
Um, so it's tricky,
Yeah, I mean,
basically.
cause I'm on the west coast of the U.S., so I also have to
Yeah,
think about like, okay, people on the east coast are 3 hours ahead, you know, cause
yeah,
like I'm something like 55% of my views come from the U.S., you know.
yeah,
So yeah, it's interesting to hear somebody from a different country talk about a different continent,
yeah,
you know.
yeah, yeah.
It's
Exactly.
interesting.
Different continent. yeah, it's an interesting one. And yeah, I look at it seems to me like people sort of have their TikTok glow ups
Hmm.
in terms of like their account might not be doing that well, and then they'll have a video that goes really well, and then it's almost as if they just ride the wave for a bit. And I think we've all sort of experienced that.
Yeah.
Um, if I look at my followers, I haven't really had a situation where I've had a constant flow of new followers. It's more been around a spike in a viral video that's, given me 15,000 followers in
Yeah.
4 days or whatever it is.
Hmm.
And then I'll have weeks where I'll get, 150 followers a day.
Yeah.
Um, and I think obviously it's a difficult thing to talk about as well because I don't want to sound like condescending because I know there are people who, to them, that would be absolutely amazing, but it's all sort of relative.
Yeah, no, me speaking to you about it, I'm on the same page as you.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty close. You're like 20,000 followers ahead of me,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
We're super close. I think
yeah,
you know, you're slightly ahead with your Twitch as well, which I think is I honestly look up to your work ethic on Twitch. I think it's fantastic. I think that um seeing how you have converted TikTok followers across to Twitch, like
yeah,
I do that, but I don't and I think I do it pretty well, but you do it phenomenally. So you should that's something to hang your hat on because it's a difficult thing to do. Not only bring them across, but make them stay
yeah.
as well.
Definitely making them stay is the hardest part. I do look
Yeah,
at every once in a while. Like I did the 8 hour charity stream I did on Saturday. I looked and like the average person watched for
yeah,
like 34 minutes. So that's
yeah,
something else I've been paying attention to
yeah,
now more
yeah,
recently is it's one thing to get them to click follow, but to get them to come
yeah.
back and watch the stream, that's the hardest part.
hundred
Um,
percent,
I
hundred
am
percent.
getting people more and more come in and say, "Hey, I haven't watched in a while. You've changed things, stuff like that." So that's always really
Yeah,
cool,
yeah, yeah.
you know.
I've had people coming in and saying, "Hey, sorry, I haven't been here for 2 months. Whoa, like this is awesome. You've
Yeah.
blown up," or sort of thing. And I think that's always exciting, um, and humbling in a sense. But there is the other flip side where I notice people who have been there, 2 months ago, who I haven't seen in a while. And I always think about those people because I think, well, I wonder what I did I wonder if it's anything that I did or if it's just a change in their scenery or what sort of happened. And
Yeah.
that's always something to think about as well. But
Yeah. It's really interesting. I mean, cuz I don't know. I think I look up to those really big streamers, you know, and I look and I'm like, at what point do they just like? At what point does it
yeah,
get so crazy that like you don't even notice like people returning and stuff? You know,
yeah,
like I
yeah.
don't
I
know.
think I get comments around like, "Duh, you don't forget about me when you've got 2,000 followers. Don't forget about me when." And I say to people
Hmm.
like, "Well, I sometimes forget what I have for breakfast, so like it's gonna be."
Yeah. Anytime somebody says that, like, don't forget about me. I'm just like, as long
Who
as
are
you
you?
stay
No, no,
active, and
kidding.
then I go. I always tell them as long as they stay active in the comments and the
Yeah,
chats, I won't.
100%,
You know.
100%, definitely.
Because yeah, if you see
Um,
that name a bunch, it's hard to
yeah,
forget. It stands
exactly,
out.
exactly. Um, I have a question for you around. This is around a particular game. What are your thoughts around Among Us? Have you played it?
Yes, that
Yeah.
game is really fun to play with streamers and really annoying to play with viewers. That's my take on it.
Ah, thank you.
It's not just you.
Okay. Okay. Good. Because, um, yeah, I had a couple of situations where, um, actually, it's the first game that's made me, um, not rage on stream, but like, I was playing, um, finally got a group together it was me, and, Aiden, Gutsy Aiden.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
it was
recognize
me and
that name.
Aiden, were playing with it was like a cross um it was like a sort of a cross stream sort of um, game, and that was all cool. And we're in a Discord, and we got some viewers in the Discord, and then like the game started, and I was imposter, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
sweet, cool. So I go and do my first task, and within 7 seconds, someone spammed the emergency meeting button, and they're quizzing me like they're like, "What task are you doing? How long did it take?" But and I was like, "Okay, well, first of all, that's really not that makes the game less fun. So you're a bit of a jerk of a person.
Yeah.
Second of all, like, why? What evidence do you have?" And then, literally, the next game, someone straight away accused me again, and I was like, "Well, I'm out because people are clearly like screen cheating or something's going on."
Yeah.
Because it was basically that some people, I understand why people do it because they want to have a sense of accomplishment, being able to out someone and looking like they're smarter than what they may potentially seem. But the flip side of that is it completely derails the stream. And I just said, I was just like, all right, cool, guys. I'm just going to go and play Fall Guys. Cheers for the games. And I just left the Discord and went and played Fall Guys. I was like, I'm not doing it because irrelevant if people are screen cheating or not, like I just wasn't enjoying myself. And I felt like that was manifesting itself into the stream as well. And I was like, well, I'm just going to go and chill out and
Yeah.
play something else. I think it's definitely a game that does that. I think when you play with viewers, and not that I don't want to play with viewers, I really do, but it's just the couple of bad eggs that make it not possible, unfortunately.
Yeah. If you're gonna play it with viewers, you got to do it offline. That's just the only way
Yeah,
it's gonna work
yeah,
with viewers,
that's
in
right.
my opinion.
Yeah,
Do you know who Bad
it's
Bear
tricky.
Gamer is?
Yes, I've heard of him. Yep.
Yeah, he's starting to grow for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
So he's really good at doing collabs. Like
yeah.
he's really good at making connections. Like he got me into a collab where it was me, Chunky Hustle, Bad Bear, and Megan Anderson, the UFC fighter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that
nice.
was
Wow.
awesome. And then I did a Among Us collab with him about a week and a half ago, I think,
Yeah, yeah,
on a Thursday night, and that playing with streamers, like, if I felt bad because people were coming like, "Hey, is there an open spot?" And I'm like, I'm doing a
yeah,
collab right now. You gotta, like, if you want to play, like, it's
yeah,
up to Bad Bear Gamer,
yeah,
Um, but I had a lot of fun once I got used to the game because I really hadn't played it that way. I had only
yeah,
played it with viewers, and it's just a whole different experience. But I had a ton of
yeah,
fun, and I
yeah,
mean, we all kind of
uh,
had the understanding where it was like you don't hit the emergency button unless you find a dead body or you see somebody, like go into the
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
chute. So
Exactly. I think that so it's funny because if you think like a game like Phasmophobia, for example, there's going to be people who play it as a completion with a completionist mindset, and then there's people who play it for the pure role playing of it. And
mhm,
I honestly much prefer the role playing part of it, like
yeah,
locking
it's
people
funny.
in rooms, like scaring
Yeah,
people, like completely derailing the whole thing, like it's just going in and saying the ghost name straight away, or like things like that that make it entertaining. And I think that sometimes can be a little bit hard for some viewers to understand. I think
yeah,
with Among Us, like I've been playing, and I'll have viewers in my chat be like, "How didn't you see yellow vent?" And it's like, well,
yeah,
I've got two eyes. We're talking about, you know, 90 pairs of eyes here. Like, of course, someone's going to see a yellow vent if like, and it's almost as if like, you just got to. Yeah, 100% to your point where it's like everyone has that understanding when you play as a streamer group, and it's nothing to say like, 'cause it's not like we're trying to exclude people from that. It just makes it
yeah.
easier for us. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
it's the phasmophobia. I had some fun with that. Uh,
Yeah,
like we would all get scared because like the thing like manifests comes after you,
yeah,
and I like shut the door on everybody and just
yeah,
start
yeah,
running.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's really, um,
Uh,
I think it's got a really, I think at especially being October, being spooky season, like I think that it's gonna keep probably staying in the forefront for a little while.
mhm.
Um, you always know a game is probably going to do well if you get people coming into your chat saying like, "What is this game? I've seen it everywhere. What is this game?"
Yeah.
That's usually a good sign. but like I think it's absolutely hilarious, like the proximity chat and how they've done the radio chat
Yeah,
as well. I think that it sounds legit, like it sounds great, and
yeah.
I couldn't imagine playing it in actual VR,
Oh,
but
yeah.
that'd be tough. That'd be
I
tough.
was playing it with some streamers after I ended my stream, because like I
Yeah,
said, I started playing it on stream and I was like the views just wasn't hanging there. You know, like
yeah.
have you played it on stream recently?
Yeah, yeah. I played it 2 nights ago.
And how did you do with viewership on that?
Was doing. Actually, so this I guess is the topic for after. I was thinking about how, yeah, I think we've sort of covered how switching games can sort of hurt a little bit. But I started with Rocket League and then switched to Phasmophobia, and then um like overall the stream wasn't great, so I kind of was okay with just continuing with Phasmophobia anyway, because I was like, oh, the stream's not that great anyway. Like let's just
Yeah,
play. I don't really like. I've just switched games. It would look strange if I just decided to not
yeah,
stream anymore. And the funny part was, I had a hell of a lot of fun, and it didn't really bother me about the view count
yeah.
until obviously after the stream, where you go and look at the view
The
count
stream
and you
summary,
look at the
yeah.
stream stats and you're like, ah. But yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. Because I'm kind of in a finding out today that I didn't make it. I kind of
yeah,
wonder, like, should I keep focusing on that number, like stream less, like I was before? You know, because I've started streaming like in between on days,
yeah, me
and
too.
I feel like there's pros and cons to that. If you're on a
Yeah,
lot, then people are gonna be like, oh well, you know, I'll just catch them tomorrow. You know,
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what my thoughts are. I'm
so
considering,
I might go back to a
depending
strict
on how
schedule.
my partner application comes back, I'm going to probably um yeah, reduce how much I stream.
Yeah,
At the moment I stream night times for me. So 7 p.m. till 10, 11. But I can't realistically do that as a career. Like I can't realistically be streaming 7 p.m. every night because it's just not, my girlfriend works full time. Like it doesn't work with our schedule. Like,
yeah,
I just can't do that. But now is not the time to just switch up completely because, a couple of months ago, I tried a stream during the day and I think I had like it was a massive view drop, and I was like, well, I can't be doing that, not now.
yeah,
And that's the kind of that mindset that we were talking about, where you're thinking like, well, you know, I can't, can't really experiment too much. Just got to keep doing the same thing and see if it works.
yeah. It sucks having
It's
to play it safe. You know, like
yeah, that's right.
it feels like I have found kind of like a good spot with Call of Duty where like
Yeah,
I can it's a dependable game, you know. It's like right
yeah,
now it's that specific Call of Duty's on the way out. So it's
yeah.
like what's gonna happen when the new one comes and everybody's playing it like
Do you mean war zones?
no, I just mean that Call of
Or do you mean
Duty the new one's
yeah?
coming
You mean
out.
with Cold
So
War coming out?
yeah, this one's kind of
Yeah,
it's tapering off. You can
yeah,
see. So
yeah,
that's why I feel like I'm able to get
yeah,
consistent views with it now.
yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
only thing I have noticed is like yesterday, the last two matches of Search and Destroy I played. You know what I'm talking about, right? You play Call of
yeah, yeah,
Duty?
yeah,
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 the
yeah,
last two matches, I was just getting my ass handed to me. Could not get a kill to save my life, and I was getting
yeah.
frustrated. And chat could tell, and the numbers started to drop off. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna finish this match, but I'm gonna go ahead and raid somebody because like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
my
yeah.
energy is just gone now.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah. I think, yeah, I think as well with streaming almost every day, like you end up becoming into that. You end up sort of thinking about that situation where during the day you're like, okay, tonight I'm streaming, and then the next day you've got that same feeling of tonight I'm streaming. Instead of you're never unless obviously you have your obviously break days, but you don't really get that feeling of, oh man, okay, cool, I'm gonna amp up for tomorrow night stream. That's you only really get that one time, whereas previously I used to get two or three of those a week, and that would used to be a nice little reset and a nice little refresh, ready to gear up.
Yeah.
Um, so nah, I'm glad a lot of the stuff you've been saying has been just very close to home. So I think that it's always good because I think that I definitely will be making some changes.
Yeah.
Um,
But dude, I
I
mean,
think mm,
sorry. Go ahead.
okay.
I don't mean to cut you off,
I
man.
think another thing as well is I always look for games that I can play that allow me to interact really well with chat.
Hmm.
And I think the best game I've found so far in the last year has been Fall Guys.
Okay.
Just because I know that that game um, is very easy to have games with viewers. It's very easy to invite people to party.
I'm terrible at that
It
game.
doesn't require a lot of. You don't rate it?
No, I'm terrible at that game.
Oh,
So
you're terrible at that game. Okay, no. Well, like so am I. I think I did a giveaway when I got a total of 15 wins, which sounds like a lot of wins, but I think for about a week I sat on 14 wins and I just couldn't win. And I was like, okay, no, I'm really going to try. And I was just like, well, no,
I've
it's
never
not
gotten one.
happening. Well, no, well, I mean, dude,
I'm bad.
it's not the problem is it's not like people say it's skill based, which kind of, yeah, it kind of is, but at the end of the day, like there's a whole lot of RNG
Yeah.
that
I
goes into it. But I think with um the release of the second season,
yeah.
right? So I think this is where like, this is where like the meta statistics and the thinking around your streams, or I this is what I tend to do anyway. I think about what games are coming up, what games are tapering off, what, if there's any correlation. And I look at how it went from Fall Guys into Among Us.
Hmm.
And now I think Among Us is slowly, people are kind of like, I know the maps, I know the people I play with. There's not really any, the only real pull left for the game is that you can play with viewers, and we all know how that goes.
Hmm.
And I think that with Fall Guys season 2 coming up in 3 days, I think it's going to boom for a bit. Um, and I think that that's a game that the TikTok crowd definitely get around. But then it all comes back to, what do you want to be known for? What kind of games do you want to
Yeah.
stream? Do you enjoy streaming Fall Guys? Do you enjoy?
So
So
Fall
it's
Guys, I've honestly the most success I've had with that is I did it before. Now the game's obviously where it's at right now,
yeah,
viewership wise. But when
yeah,
it was kind of hanging out at like a good number, like around 100K,
yeah.
I would play it on Saturdays with my girlfriend. We would take turns. Like if
Nice.
I would
That's
die, we would
amazing.
just yeah, and
That's
it was
amazing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we would hang out
That's
around like
awesome.
180, 200 people for like the
Yeah,
first hour of the stream like
that's
that,
amazing. That's
you
amazing.
know. So,
Yeah.
um
I think um I think with TikTok we sometimes don't really get to choose our demographic,
yeah.
if that makes sense.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Um,
100%.
for example, I have played World of Warcraft on and off for the last 14 years.
Okay.
But I know, at least from what I can gather, that a lot of the TikTok followers in my stream don't really know what World of Warcraft is. Um, and with the release of the new expansion coming in about, well, I mean, it was meant to be later this month, but they've moved it back. When that does come out, I will be doing that. I'll be pretty heavily invested in hopefully streaming that, and that's another worrying thought that I have. Where like, okay, I've built this TikTok audience up as well as my initial audience. Am I going to cop views? Am I not going to cop views? Are my views going to tank? Are people going to be engaged? And then it comes down, then I like step back and I think, well, what does it matter? You should play what game you want to play. If you enjoy playing World of Warcraft, then play it. But then the other side is like, well, okay, but you're doing this full time. Like this is your income.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
it's the that mental
you could
battle you have.
substitute, you could substitute World of Warcraft with probably any game. I think we all go through that.
I mean, because the issue I had when I first started to like get people coming over from, because it was fast, man. Honestly, I
Mm.
I think I did the type of content that me and my girlfriend did at the right time, because
Oh yeah, for sure.
we went from like 10,000 to 25,000 in like a month on
Yep.
Twitch, and it
Yep.
was it was crazy. But I mean, just like I, I I have started to notice other Twitch streamers who have had like a huge explosion in followers.
Yep.
They get the opposite end of it later on, like
Yep.
Vision Wise. I had him on the podcast last. You know who that is,
Yep.
right? Vision
Yeah.
Wise.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So he started Twitch streaming because of TikTok,
Yep.
and I mean,
Interesting.
he started right away with like
Yeah.
300 viewers, like average
Yep.
300 viewers. Made partner really quick. because his numbers were that good and everything. And then now he averages like 60. So you see that end of it too. He told me that like, that he looks up to me as a like he's trying to figure out himself how to get out of the rut that he's in, And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, like the thing that I got going on right now is I'm like, okay, how do I keep the people that I have entertained, so they don't leave?
Yeah.
But then what can I do because I'm seeing my content stall out? Like,
Yeah.
there's and it's just back and forth,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's an uphill
Yeah.
battle.
Yeah, for sure. No,
So,
no, definitely. Um, you know, unless you're David Dobrik, um, you know,
yeah, unless you're a celebrity.
it's always, yeah, it's always going to be hard to. It's kind of like trying to put it into an analogy. Like it would kind of be like the new kid at school, where it's
Yeah.
kind of like, sweet, look at this new kid on the first day. Oh, that's amazing. And then like 2 weeks later, it's kind of like, oh, he's just one of us,
Yeah.
sort of thing. And I think that's sort of the mentality that a lot of the audience that we have across TikTok and Twitch is that, TikTok is one of the most attention based platforms I've ever seen in my whole life, where it reminds me of Tinder, where you're literally making a decision on the fly and you can lose your spot very quickly. Like if you
Yeah.
press refresh on the homepage, well, good luck if you didn't save that video and you didn't take note of who the user was. You're not going to
Yeah.
be able to find it.
Yeah.
Um, and I think about something like Twitch, where if you're known really well on TikTok, you can kind of, because TikTok is kind of like you get a snippet of someone, whereas Twitch is you get a pretty long, hard look at who they actually are.
Yeah.
And I think when you make the switch from TikTok to Twitch, people can kind of be like, oh, that's what he's really like. Oh. Or they
Yeah.
can be like, hey, this is what this guy's really like. That's awesome. I'm not going to, why do I need TikTok? I'm just going to watch him on Twitch, which is great.
Yeah.
But then your TikTok views might tank.
So I think that
So,
the reason that I've been able to transfer so many people over is because I try to be very genuine in my
yep.
TikToks. Like I don't do very many skits because I just to me it's too I don't want to say fake, but it's just too much of an
Yeah.
act. Like I do
Yeah.
them every
Yeah.
once in a while,
Yep.
but I feel like if I don't have an emotional connection with the content I'm making, then it
Yep.
doesn't do well. So that's
Exactly.
with
Exactly.
my girlfriend going back to school, like I am faced with that fact where it's like, she's not in them as much. It's just me now, so I got to start like figuring out how I can use my brain
Yeah.
by myself
You should,
to change
you
things.
should, I just think of, I just think of silly ideas like you should just record yourself walking into the room asking yourself how the stream went.
Shh. A good thing this doesn't come out till later. I'm already working on
Yeah.
something,
Okay.
but
Sorry.
I mean,
Sorry.
I don't know if no, you're fine. It's that I don't know if you saw the
Yeah.
one I posted today.
I haven't.
Oh,
I
you just woke
I woke
up.
up. I haven't seen it.
So I
Okay.
posted one, um, where it was like people, my girlfriend, it's her first day back on campus.
Yeah.
I was like, people are telling me like, oh, like once she goes back to school, my TikTok
Yeah.
career is over. Like, who's gonna make TikToks with me? And I was like, I don't need her. And then it was like day one with like the Law and Order sound, like the yeah, do you know what I'm talking about? And then
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and then it
Yeah.
was me with the towel on my head holding G-Fo. I was like, hey
Nice.
babe, like
Nice. I like it. I like it. Yeah.
yeah,
Good. 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 That's good. Um, yeah. I think that with it's interesting when you say about um like being genuine with the content. I think, funnily enough, with TikTok, it is kind of like you almost have to get people to come across to you to a stream. You almost have to be like you have to do a video where you're like, hey, I'm a Twitch streamer. Here are my stats. Here's like proof that I'm a Twitch streamer. And they're
yeah,
like, oh, wow, you're a Twitch streamer? I didn't even know. And it's like have you been watching any of my videos? It's kind of like not until you actually tell them straight up that you're a Twitch streamer and you show them some stats. And I think that people like to watch success as well. People gravitate towards success.
to an extent, I would say. I
Mm,
talked to Vision about it, and he was like that. What he feels like is because he's at 2 million followers on TikTok.
yeah.
And right now he's in the same dilemma where he's like it's hard for him to get more than 100,000 views with that many followers. You know what I mean? Like
Mm,
for him, he's like it just doesn't make sense.
mm,
Um, Like he's trying to figure out what to do. Like I think today he posted that like he's just taking the day off. Like he's like, I'm just gonna go Twitch stream. Like if you want to come hang out, hang out. You know, like he's just taking a break. And I feel
Yeah.
it. I mean, I'm stressed out about it too.
Yeah.
Um, I just feel like a lot of people are. It's a transition. Really, I think
Yeah.
that's the bottom line. We're in a transition,
Yeah.
and I mean, no offense, but it's survival of the fittest. There's going to be
Yeah.
people who are going to get discouraged and, you
Yeah.
know, stop doing it. For a
Yeah.
fact, you
Yeah.
know,
No, for sure.
which
100%.
I don't plan on stopping.
100%.
So,
No. I think
yeah,
I've gone through a view drop, a significant view drop, and then on the other side of it, I've come out with a video that's had 3.2 million views, and it's like, imagine if I had stopped. It's kind of like, well, I would have stopped at 80,000, and now I'm,
yeah,
almost double. So it's like, it is about, and I don't really see it. I think that it's always, I think taking a break is fine. I think quitting is you'd be doing yourself a disservice.
yeah,
I think taking a break is important. I think that sometimes, I'd rather, but even in a sense, even when I say taking a break, for me, taking a break is like, I'll just spend, 2 minutes recording a video on TikTok and I'll upload it. Whereas to some people, a break might be no uploading. They don't go on TikTok. So I guess it depends.
So you said you're full time with it, right?
Yep. Yeah, full
Okay.
time.
So you get this too. I have such a hard time relaxing.
Yeah, I'm not
Oh, I
relaxed at
have
all.
yeah. Like
Yeah,
me and my girlfriend went and saw.
yeah,
Me and
I
my
take like
girlfriend
an
went and
hour to
saw a
fall
movie
asleep.
the other day. Dude,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. We're totally talking over each other. My bad.
No, no, no. Go. You go.
Okay.
I'm just saying one line. You go.
Okay. So me and my girlfriend went and saw a movie on Sunday. I'd been wanting to see that new Christopher Nolan movie. I don't know how into movies
Yes,
you are. I'd been wanting to see it
I am.
for,
Yeah,
a month and a half now since it's been
yeah,
out. And halfway through the movie, like it was I don't want to say it's like this stuff almost gives me anxiety, dude. Like I
yeah,
just get anxious all of a sudden because I'm like,
yeah.
man, like I haven't posted a TikTok today, stuff like that, you
Yep.
know. And I was
That's real.
it bothered me that I couldn't even watch a movie,
Yep.
you know.
Yeah. My partner's noticed. Um. I Yeah. I'm on my phone a lot more. And it's hard because it's like, how do I explain that? Like, it's not on my phone because I, it's kind of because my phone has now become a lot more ingrained in my work.
Yeah,
Um, and I think I 100% feel you on the point around the anxiety. I get anxiety about content if I'm creating the right content, if I should, I think, um, I've had a couple of collaborations as well where people have sent me stuff and the package arrives and I'm like, sweet. And then like the next 5 minutes is me stressing about how I'm going to film the content.
yeah,
Um, and then I think to myself, is it worth it? I mean, like, and then I'd like, yeah, of course it's worth it. But then I'm like, oh, but maybe it's not. And I think it's, for me personally, we haven't, as I said at the start, like we're in lockdown, like we haven't really had an opportunity to integrate back into normal life. So for me,
yeah,
it's all like, it's kind of like, it's fine. But I know that when I come out of lockdown, when we will be going out for dinners, when we'll, be going to movies, going to sporting events, etc. Like there is going to be less time to do what I'm doing right now. And then I think about everything, and I'm like, man, that's going to be difficult. Like I'm going to be stressing out because I stress out
yeah,
right now. So
yeah. I know, like some people are like, making partner and all stuff like that. Those are goals. My goal is to be able to have some people help me with this shit, dude. It's
yeah,
so much work,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
I mean, people just see the finished product.
yeah,
Like I would love to make more YouTube content. It's just
yeah,
I can only I like I'm in the process of learning how to edit and stuff like that, and
yeah,
it's I mean, when I spend more time learning how to edit, that's less time making TikToks, less time
yeah,
streaming. It's
yeah,
just everything has an effect on your other
yeah.
stuff,
a hundred
and
percent. So things that I have like made a hard decision on are, I'm gonna get an editor for TikTok. I'm gonna get an editor for YouTube. And I basically have moderator. I'm gonna make sure that I have a moderation team as well. I've got a moderation team right now that are amazing. Um, like they're all incredible. They do a great job across Twitch and Discord, but I need
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
basically. Um, and I think that when I get, you know, when I think about YouTube and think about TikTok, having an editor is the right way to go. I'd rather pay someone a certain amount of money to do it for me than, it all comes down to time and best money.
Yeah.
And recently I've started up a gaming merchandise brand that
Yeah, I
takes up a
saw
lot of
that.
my time.
Just gonna
Yeah,
ask you
it
about
takes
that.
up no, thanks, man. It takes up quite a lot of time, especially, with COVID. We have supplier issues, we have a whole lot of different issues pop up here and there. And when I think about, how I segment my time, like the first thing that comes to mind is like just this overcrowded pie chart that is completely a mess and it's completely imbalanced. And yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I'm not at the point where I can hire an editor and stuff like that. I just,
yeah,
especially California is expensive. Like now that
yeah,
I'm not gonna go work in Hollywood, me and my
yeah,
girlfriend have
yeah,
been talking about like once she finishes school, we might just go to a different state where it's
yeah,
because we pay.
for sure.
I don't know what it is and what currency do you guys use in Australia?
Australian dollars.
Australian dollars.
It'll be about 1 point. So whatever US dollars it is, it's about 1.6, 1.7 times that.
Okay, so here in U.S. dollars for a two-bedroom apartment, um, two bedroom, one bathroom, we're paying 2,040 a month before
Okay, that's
utilities.
okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
So,
Yeah,
so what we've been doing has been like, all
yeah,
right, so I work out of our bedroom, and it's like the goal is to first get into an apartment or a
yeah,
house that we can rent in another state where I can have my own room to work out of because it's
yeah.
like after a certain time at night, my girlfriend's got school, she's got to get some sleep, you know.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that's one thing that I'm having issues with is like,
Yeah.
especially since I'm one of those people where like at night, my brain is just I think clearer at night.
Me too.
I'm like, oh, it
100%.
sucks, it's time to go to bed, but
Yeah.
like I got this
Yeah.
idea
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
want to, it
Yeah.
sucks.
100%.
So I think as long as I can stick it out for like the next 6 months and get to that point where we can move into a bigger place, that's going to be a big game changer.
Yeah.
I mean, my sleep's going to suffer, but
Yeah.
I'm going to be running off of G
Yeah.
Fuel for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I
But
think no, 100%. I think I definitely feel you with at night times. I think clearer, and I think that's why I gravitate towards my streams at night because I feel like I've got a lot more energy. People are always like, "How do you have so much energy?" And I'm like, "Well, that's you should see me in the morning, like right now."
yeah,
um, my energy levels fluctuate. I think that is it. That is a good point around like, you know, thinking about your stream and thinking about your surroundings in your environment and how, what you might be streaming in right now, like what's that going to look like in a year's time, 2 years time.
yeah.
Um, yeah, it's
I mean, one
yeah,
way that I've started looking at it is like, what are my goals? You know, like let's say Twitch partner. Okay,
yeah,
one thing that I've also been tried to been really careful about with the Twitch partner thing, and I think it's working out, is I never made it like the end goal. You know, if you
yeah,
make Twitch partner the end goal, then you're gonna make partner, and then there go your,
yeah,
there's what's the next
yeah,
thing,
yeah,
you know?
exactly, exactly.
So
I
you can't
think
focus on it too
it,
much.
yeah, I think you know, thinking about the partner application, um, I made sure that when I put my partner application in that I talked about the next 12 months. Um, because I think it's important, like you're saying, in terms of, you know, if partner is your end goal, then you're going to reach it, and that's it. You'll be floundering because you don't know what
Yeah,
to think about. And even saying, even it's an interesting topic because in Australia, Twitch streaming isn't really a thing.
yeah,
Like there are Twitch streamers, there are some famous YouTubers, like you think of Laserbeam, who obviously was on Twitch and now is on YouTube. Like there are successful Twitch streamers, but they're fewer and far between. Um, and I don't know if that plays in my favor or not.
I would say it probably
Um,
does.
but at the same time, um, yeah, at the same time, it's scary as well because you know, it's a new frontier for us here. Like I
Yeah.
would say that we're almost 2 3 years behind.
I mean,
Two probably.
I guess it's not fair for me to say that that's a positive. I guess the way that I was looking at it is I don't know any other
No, 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 no.
Australian
No.
streamers.
I take it as the reason why I didn't want to say that's a positive because I didn't want people to think that I think there are always two sides of it, but I personally think it's a positive. I think it's
Okay.
um if I always ask a question to my friends or family. I always bring up with them. I'm like, well, if I think about it, if I go on the street randomly in Australia and ask someone, hey, who do you know? Who do you personally know that's a Twitch streamer? Very few people would say anyone. Whereas if you were
Yeah.
and this is an assumption again, whereas if you're in America, you'd probably find a few more people said that they knew people. And I think that sort of shows the maturity of a litmus test, sort of maturity sense of how the demographic is in Australia and how it is in America and overseas. Um, we've got one convention, which we've got PAX, which is pretty sweet. But like, aside from that, I think we might have one major esports event a year. Whereas in America, you've got thousands, well, not thousands, but you got hundreds. Like
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah, here
it's a
it's
tricky one.
definitely sorry. Is that all you're saying?
Yeah,
It's so difficult with the delay.
I know.
Um I still can't believe I'm talking to somebody in Australia, dude.
Yeah,
It's so
like no,
weird.
it's crazy. It's crazy. Nah, and once again, mate, I appreciate you reaching out because I think it's awesome to just have a chat about
Dude,
everything
it
that's
does.
going on.
This
And
conversation feels a little therapeutic, to be honest.
yeah, I think it came at the right time, if that makes sense.
Exactly.
Um, I've you know I s- without going into back into TikTok, I've spoken to quite a few different content creators, and I think a lot of people are feeling the same. Like you can
Okay.
probably attest to that as well. I think that there's quite a bit going around where people are taking breaks, people are showing view drops. I mean, I think I just saw Gutsy Aiden post something on Twitter today saying about, well, TikTok's changed or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely a thought that's crossing everyone's mind. So I think it's a nice time to have this conversation, nice and therapeutic.
Yeah, for sure. I was gonna say something
Yeah.
about that too. I was gonna say that like I never really know how conversations are gonna go when it's somebody that I
Mm.
haven't. I mean, with you being in a different time zone, it's hard to have a
Yeah.
conversation with you or catch you when you're on Twitch,
Yeah. Yeah.
for very long.
For sure.
So I'm glad that it like you said, it seems like this is a good conversation to have right now. You're a very
Yeah.
mellow guy, by the way.
Oh no.
So
No, cheers, cheers. Um so yeah, it's a funny one. Because I've sort of my whole life I've not really for some, it's like a double-edged sword. Like there are some I've had some comments where I've had people say like, "Oh, it's kind of like slightly emotionless in a sense." But I think the way that I see it is I try to be quite mellow about things. I don't really if there's a conflict situation, drama, like I don't do drama. Like if there's drama, I'll be in the other room. Like I'm not going to be dealing with that. Like
yeah,
whatever, you guys can have a fight about that. Like, I'd rather be enjoying my life, spending my time doing something, spending my time with people
yeah,
who, want to just enjoy what they're doing and not worry about things like that. And I think that's generally my mantra. And I think that it sort of comes across a little bit like that. But yeah, there are obviously, as I was saying, there's other times where people are like, oh, this guy doesn't care. It's like, well, no,
yeah,
it's not like I don't care. It's just like, I don't really care about that, like that in
yeah.
particular thing, because it's not worth it. Um, but yeah,
So who
that
are
was, but
some like
mhm.
content creator streamers that you look up to right now? Like for me, it's
Okay,
Sally's a
so
dog. That guy's killing it, man.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
probably the biggest
Uh,
TikToker on Twitch, right? Besides like
Yeah,
Tim the
yeah,
Tap Man, but that was after the
yeah,
fact.
yeah, yeah, of course. I think it's an interesting one, like, and I don't want to sound like cliche or anything like that, but I do look up to, someone like Laserbeam, because I know that he has come from nothing in a sense. Like, he was, 5 years ago, he was laying concrete, and now he has
Yeah,
16, 17 million subscribers on YouTube. And I look at him daily and I can see in his content that he obviously has struggles. Like I've noticed in his content that there's been times where he's been struggling, and I just recently he got he got a content violation on YouTube where he couldn't post for like a week. And I was thinking like, here's me worrying about not, worrying about getting a video muted on TikTok. And here's Laserbeam who cannot go live. It's like saying you
Yeah.
can't go. It's like getting basically banned for a week on Twitch. It's like
Yeah.
you like the stresses that you would go through. And I think that um, him being Australian, I look up to him in a sense. I think that um, I think it's important to look up to people that are relatable in a sense,
Yeah.
like that you can aspire to be. Um, and then I look at someone like, um, I look at someone like Low, who is, um, he's growing sort of. It's an interesting one because I look, yeah, obviously like someone like Laserbeam who's quite established, and I look at someone like Low who's growing quite quickly, and he's so young as well.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that, um, yeah, I think there's a lot of respect for someone so young to be able to manage everything and sort of, being a content creator, I look at someone, I look at my own views, and I have, when I have like 120 viewers, I find it difficult to, and I get stressed out, and and I think look at someone at Low who's 17 and he's got 400 viewers. Like there's a lot
Yeah.
of a lot of situations that I can imagine he goes through as well. But I think, um, originally, if I'm going to be honest, the person that got me into TikTok and Twitch, like the conversion of people from TikTok to Twitch and etc., was Legend Daily.
Okay.
Um, I had a good chat with him quite some time ago, and we sort of seemed to be in a similar situation where he'd just left his full time job,
Right.
and I was at that point considering and weighing up all my options while working full time. Um, yeah, and I've grown to know the guy, and he's a super nice guy. But I always know that with TikTok, it's hard to sort of know someone until you have a chat with them, in a sense, like because you kind of like plaster your content on your page, you can very quickly make a viewpoint about someone. And I think that, when you do, like for example, like having this conversation with you, I learn, having an hour and 2 hour conversation with you, I learn more than I've known, by from following you in 2 to 3 months, in a sense, just because we have that
Yeah.
connection, we have that conversation. So I think that, yeah, the people that I've reached out to and had good conversations with, they're sort of people that I look up to because um, yeah, they're quite, yeah, from what I've gathered, quite humble in the way that they go about it. But I mean, what about yourself, mate? Like, what are your sort of,
Like I
um,
said, mostly I I've I really like Bad Bear Gamers,
yeah,
like ethic. That guy, you can tell that he's in it for like the long haul, you know.
yeah,
He's not just trying to like blow up.
yeah,
He's got somewhere around like 4,000 Twitch followers, but he averages, like I think he's getting close to being able to apply for partner. So for like
mm,
that, but he's got a very
it's amazing.
loyal community,
Yeah,
and that's impressive.
yeah,
Um, I've honestly, it's stuff like that has started to make me realize that follower number that really doesn't mean
no,
that much.
doesn't
Like
really
it's a
mean that
cool
much.
thing
I
to,
think, yeah, I think, just sorry to go over you, but I think that it's almost one of those things where, it's like a video. If I was, sorry, I always try and do analogies. It's kind of like
hmm
if you put a video on TikTok, um, and it's kind of like the ratios where, like, okay, say if a video gets 1 million views, but it may only get 50,000 likes. It's kind of like I assume when Twitch consider applications, or they have a look at follower numbers, I think that I think it sort of comes down to a little bit of ratios as well. Um, So, but at the same time, like you're not going to grow unless you get followers. Like it's like a double-edged sword.
yeah.
So
Have you
it
been
is, it's
follow
always
botted yet?
impressive. Pardon?
Have you been follow botted?
I've been followed botted. twice. Once was on stream, but I just put my stream into followers only, and it seemed to work, and they sort of stopped. There's only like 100 for followers. Um, but the other time I can't really remember. I don't think so. Not really. How about yourself?
I got follow botted a week ago by like 1,000
Okay.
or like
Okay.
1,300. So, but
Okay.
I freaked out about it for a little bit. Like I kept my cool and everything, but I was like, I had had it happen before with like 100,
Yeah.
but 1,300, I was like,
Mm.
what the hell, you know? And
Yeah.
so that was a late night because I was researching like what can I do? Like everybody was like, well, if you reach out to Twitch, they don't really do anything about it. They just they remove them in waves. But I found out that there was a website. I don't know if I forgot what it's called, but you can basically
Commander Root.
manually, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what you ended up using?
Yeah. Yeah. I've had a couple of
Yeah,
friends who have been follow botted, and I think it's just you use Commander Root, and you can just get them to.
yeah. I've
Yeah.
when I found that thing though, like reading some of I found it because I saw articles where people like, I I used it to remove followers and I accidentally removed my whole
Oh
community.
my
Like they
lord,
accidentally,
that's
yeah,
crazy.
and you can't get it back.
That's crazy.
So I was like,
That's crazy. That's like
whoo.
maybe I won't muck around with that. Like
But yeah,
knowing me as well, I'd do something like that, and I'd be like, "Well, just cancelled my whole stream, cancelled my whole
it
channel."
luckily, I mean, it tells you. It's like, are you sure you want to remove this many people?
Yeah,
So, I think that guy's issue is more like he only had a couple thousand,
yeah.
and
I
he was
think,
removing like half of them, and he accidentally removed all of them.
yeah, I think
But
it's there's a lot of yeah. It's I mean, like, it blows my mind that it's a thing, like follow botting.
it's super easy to do
Like,
too. I talked
yeah,
to a YouTuber about it. He was talking about how he's concerned that there's theories out there
it's
that
like
like
doxing.
a
It's
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's a similar thing. Yeah, and it's swatting. Like it's all um so an interesting point actually last night. So last night during my stream, I was sitting at I think 89 viewers, and I was like, cool, this is playing Rocket League, sweet. And then next thing, my view count, like my chat was saying like, whoa, 200 views, 200 views, and I was like, oh, shit, maybe a raid's coming in, sweet. And then the raid never came in, host never came in, and it
Hmm.
sort of stuck on 200, and then slowly tapered down to like 140 over like an hour and a half. And I still don't know what happened, and I don't know if I got view botted. I don't know if I was follow botted. I don't know if someone hosted me and the notification didn't come through.
I have a theory
Um,
because I've had that
yeah,
happen before. Um, like one time I was watching or I was playing Valorant and
yeah,
I was chilling around. I want to say 140
yeah,
viewers or something,
yeah,
somewhere around there. And all of a sudden, people are like, "Whoa, dude, you got 315 people watching!" And I was like, "What?"
yeah,
And I look over, and like it kind of stuck around there because you know how there's like a lag
yeah,
with
yeah,
like the
yeah,
stream
yeah.
manager.
Yeah, there's a lag. Yeah.
Yeah, it drives me nuts too because people will be like,
Oh, it
"Oh, there's
drives.
this many
Yeah,
people," and I'm like, "The
yeah,
number
yeah.
hasn't moved.
Drives me
Like, what are you
nuts.
talking about?" You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
100%. Oh, so, on that, sometimes my views are like, I'm like, sweet. I'm on like 80 views or 90 views, sweet. And they'll look again and it'll be like 55. And I'm like, well, that's impossible. How did 35 people just leave? And then next thing I look and it's like 95. And it's like, well, which one is it, Streamlabs? Is it
yeah.
95 or is it 55? Make up your mind.
Um,
Yeah.
so, but my theory is that there are decent sized streamers out there, and they will go through and look for somebody to raid playing the game that they play. And when
Hmm.
they pull your stream up and they're looking at it, people go and like start looking at your stuff. And
Oh,
so
okay.
I think that happens because like
Yeah, that
15
could
minutes later
potentially
it
be
went
it.
back down, you
Okay.
know?
Yeah, the thing that yeah, that's it's an interesting one as well because like it didn't go down for like it was almost as it felt like a raid
Uh-huh.
in terms of
Yeah.
like the way that the viewers tapered off. Like they were 200 and then it stuck for a while, and then it was almost like an hour and a half later that it was down to like 150.
Yeah.
And I thought about it, and then someone else said that potentially like I might have been put on the front page for a bit, and I was like, well, why would they put me on the front page? Like, doesn't make any sense.
I could see that. That's a
But then I have
possibility.
no idea. Yeah, so
Cuz I've had people tell me like, "Oh yeah, you showed up on my recommended."
yeah.
And I'm like, "So like have you followed me?" Or, like I try to figure out, I ask questions. I'm like
Mm-mm-mm.
they're like, "Why is everybody talking about TikTok?" I'm like,
Actually, I
"Okay,
should
they
have a
don't
look
know
at my
about
stats.
TikTok." you know?
Yeah, 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 exactly.
So that gets my brain going. I'm like, I wonder if like maybe I popped up for a little bit or something, you know?
Yeah.
So
I think it's a very interesting. Let me just sorry to do this on
you're fine.
during the podcast. Let me have a look to see if I can get any insight into where that came from. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, right. Okay, so it did come from. Okay, so it was a host. So there's a partnered streamer who's in my stream team. He's an absolute legend. Um, it seems like he hosted me. It's not, but I didn't get the notification. What I think might have happened is potentially he sometimes gets on the front page. If he's on the front page when he hosts me, then I inevitably get on the front page.
Okay.
Maybe that happened. I don't know. Anyway, it
Yeah.
was a good stream though. The stats not bad. But
Yeah.
oh, max viewers 444. I don't remember it ever going to 444.
It,
That's
it
really
honestly,
strange.
yeah, you see that and like it happens for like I think it has to happen. You have to have that many viewers for a solid minute or something like that for it to register. Because like there's been
God.
times where I've seen it go up, but then I go to like Twitch tracker and it says that
Yeah,
it didn't go all the way up because it didn't track for a whole minute.
it's
Um,
odd.
yeah, it's
It's
weird.
odd. But yeah, sorry. Enough about my statistics and trying to find out that one nuance. Um, yeah, it's an interesting the whole like viewers on Twitch is an interesting one as well. I know people that hide their view account, and that gives
Yeah,
me anxiety. Like when I hide, like for me, if I was to hide my view account, not there's anything wrong with hiding a view account, like I 100% get it. But for me, if I hid my view account, I'd feel like um I'd feel like I could be let down. It's kind of like opening something. Like I feel like at the end of every stream, it would feel like opening something on Christmas morning, and everyone's watching
mm,
me. And like if it's crap, then I'm like, cool.
yeah,
Or like if it's not, if it's really great, it's like that was awesome. And then I can't really like it's kind of just like me enjoying that moment. Whereas like if I have my view account up, I can kind of like celebrate it in the time in the moment with my viewers.
yeah.
That
I
sort of
feel you.
makes sense.
No, I 100%. Yeah, I uh,
Um,
I've tried to look at it less and less, but you do
yeah,
have to look. I mean, you just have to
mm,
know like. I mean, so my biggest thing is that I stream for 4 hours, right?
yep,
And so when I hit like that 3 to 4 hour mark, that's when like it's either time to like play something else for the rest of the
yep,
stream or try to decide whether I should end
yep,
it early or not.
yep.
Um, because that's when people on the East Coast are like, "All right, it's time for me to go to bed." It's
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
late,
yeah,
and then people on the West Coast are like, "I'm gonna go do something else before I go to bed."
yeah,
So it's like
yeah.
it's interesting,
It's a bit
you
of a
know.
yeah,
Um, I have noticed though, I think TikTokers, like in general, like it is important for us to like band together, because I've
yeah,
noticed more and more other TikTokers rating me, and like
yeah.
I'll rate other
Hundred
TikTokers,
percent,
and it's definitely becoming a community of its own on
100%.
Twitch.
Definitely. I think yeah, I think that Twitch is a very much a community driven platform where you're going to do better if you have a community around you. For example, you look at all of the major streamers who you watch, probably they have a good friendship group that they all play with and they
Yeah,
all vibe off. And I think that, if one ends, then they'll pass it on to the lower end of that friendship group and then they get built up and then they'll pass it on. Like yeah. I
yeah,
think um, on the flip side, though, I also enjoy, and this is completely my own personal comfortability with Twitch. Like, I personally enjoy streams where it's just me because I don't like having to have people rely on me and and also rely on other people as well. Like, I don't really. Sometimes I'll tee things up with streamers, or I'll tee things up with friends, and then like there'll be a period where like I know they're running late or like it's 15 minutes, and it's kind of like, oh well, if I hadn't played with them, then I'd just be doing my own thing. And not that
yeah.
I don't enjoy. Like there's two sides to every.
I mean, man, I
There's
was
two
in the
sides to
I
it.
was in the military. Being punctual is really important to me.
Yeah.
There's been
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
couple people I try to get on the podcast, and they
Yeah.
like either. I had one guy. He was like, "Yeah, dude, like he wasn't a streamer. He was just a
Yeah.
TikToker." Because it's called Creators Unite, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I've gotten one YouTuber on. I'm trying to get more,
Yep.
but it seems like right now Twitch streaming is like the
Yeah.
connection that I can make with people. And like I had one guy, he's a I won't say who obviously, but a
Yeah.
TikToker,
Yeah.
and like he seemed really funny, really cool and everything. Dude totally forgot and went golfing instead of going on the podcast. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay, well like to me that's like I see
Yeah.
how important it is
I
to them, so
yeah.
I'm not gonna waste
Yeah.
any more
Yeah.
time on it.
I think I look at myself and I'm like, the only thing that like I was super like as soon as you reached out to me, I was like super keen, and I think that the thing about it, a podcast like this is, you never really know what you're gonna get in terms of like, okay, that let me rephrase that. I think in terms of being a guest on a podcast, sometimes you never really know how the conversation is going to go, and I think that
Yeah.
that's something where if you're willing to take a gamble, you can really like pay off. And I think as was said today, like it's been a really great. It sounds weird if I was going to say it's been a really great session, like we're each other's counselors or something, but it kind of feels very, yeah, as we said, therapeutic. And I think there are a lot of people who are flaky, and I think that I look at what someone said the other day. For example, someone said when you go and apply for Twitch partnership, it's like a job application, like and if you think about you know the partner application, then you think about put that all to the side and you think about Twitch streaming in general. It's important to be punctual, and
Yeah.
I think I look at streamers who aren't as punctual, and I think, well, maybe that's why you might not be doing so well. But I don't know.
I got a question for you. Do you use a
Yep.
stream starting soon screen?
Yes, I do. I use a stream starting soon screen, but I do it for about 4 minutes.
Okay. So I took a point out of Harris Heller's book. You
Yeah.
know who Harris Heller is,
To
right?
not have a stream starting screen.
Yeah, and I think it
Yeah.
has made a difference. I think I
Yeah.
retain more. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna start doing that.
Yeah, give it a shot cuz I do
Okay.
notice that when you hit that start streaming thing, you have like anywhere from like 30 seconds to like a minute and a half before it
Yeah.
actually pushes out the notification,
Yeah.
you know? So if you're like, I take that time to be like, all right, the game's loaded up. Like there's always,
Yeah.
because I go live on TikTok before I stream. I've never gone
Yeah.
live at the same time. Something about that just doesn't seem right to me. I don't know if you've done that.
Yeah. 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 That's that. I could do. I could. We could. I could write an essay on my thoughts on going live and how that affects
Are you
TikTok
for it or
algorithm and how
against
that.
it? Like, would you do it?
I've done it.
You've
I've
done
done
it?
it at the same time, and it's been great. Like I have had situations where I've gone live on TikTok while I've been streaming, and I have gotten 30 viewers come in. Like I've had an
Okay.
increase of 30 viewers. But on the flip side, um, it's that goes back to that point around your stream schedule and how often you're showing yourself to people. And I think that going live for an hour on TikTok, people are kind of like, well, this guy's like, like this is boring. Like
Yeah,
I'm
especially if
not
you're
gonna.
sitting there paying attention to something else.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
exactly.
that kind of defeats the
Um,
purpose. I
yeah, for
personally
sure.
can't. I can't stand it when I'm swiping past and I see that a streamer is live and it's just a sign.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Drives me
Yeah.
nuts, man.
No, no, it's fine. It's fine. I
Yeah.
think that the only like I personally don't enjoy doing it, but I
Yeah.
know that sometimes I will go live. Say for example, if my stream is sitting, and this is only recently, say if I'm sitting on 75 viewers
Yeah.
and I'm not live on TikTok and I'm like, well, I mean,
You know what? I've never thought about that. I've never thought about using it as like a, I want to say like a life raft, where it's like, okay, my stream's not
yeah,
doing
it's a
well.
life raft. It
I
is.
might have to try that. But I
Yeah.
still wouldn't want to go live for more than like 15, 20 minutes.
No,
Like I would use
just
it as like a little
what I would
boost.
do, advice would be when you go live on TikTok, um, I would say to the TikTok people who come in, just be like, "Hey, how you doing, guys?" Like, and I'd say something like, I always try and like thank my TikTok community for tuning in and being like, "Thanks for all the support on TikTok. It's been amazing." If you didn't know, I'm live at the moment on Twitch. The link's in my bio. Like, come hang out. Like, we're doing this, this, this. Because people always ask, "What game are you playing? What are you doing?" Just be like, playing Warzone, doing some search and destroy, or like I'm doing search and destroy with viewers, or like whatever you're doing, and then repeat it maybe 4 times and then end your stream on TikTok. I reckon that's a good, because generally with TikTok live streams, it's the same as Twitch. Like it takes a little while for people to come into the stream, and then
Yeah.
after a little while, people start to just leave.
I've been told
So
it kind of peaks at like half an hour. Half an hour is like the
yeah,
max you want to really
yeah,
like live stream unless you're doing something special on
yeah,
TikTok, which I never really have. So
yeah,
I don't think I've ever gone live more than 45 minutes
yeah,
on there. I
yeah, yeah, yeah,
do, however, I've been contemplating. You know how it used to be like when I first started making TikToks back in like
yeah,
April, they used to say like if you post a video, do not go live because it will basically take the spot of a video.
yeah, yeah.
And
I've
now
heard that
that's
as
like the
well.
opposite. It seems
But
like
now
now
I've
it
heard
helps
that,
your
yeah,
videos because that
yeah,
was such an
it's weird.
issue and they want to push the lives. Like it's important to
Yeah,
TikTok that they diversify, so they've changed it.
yeah,
So I
agreed.
have thought about going live once a day because there is also like the TikTok Live fund. You heard of that, right? So
Well, in
Vish,
Australia, we don't get anything,
oh,
so
that's right. That's
yeah,
a
I don't.
bummer.
Like the whole creative fund thing to me, like
I didn't even think about that.
yeah, it doesn't affect me. Like I
Um,
don't. Yeah, but so there's a going live fund. Okay.
yeah. So,
Oh,
oh,
internal battery's
internal
gone.
temp.
Yeah, got my
What camera do you have?
too. I've got a Sony A6400, but I've got sometimes it gets too close to my streaming light. Hold on, give me one.
Okay.
Usually it happens when I.
Because I'm looking at upgrading to a A5100. This
Yep.
webcam, I'm
Okay,
done
we're
with this
good. We're good.
webcam.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
tired of
yeah,
using
yeah.
a
No, I
webcam.
think it was an investment that I was like, oh, look, if I'm going to be doing content
Yeah.
creation full time, I can use this camera outside of content creation as well. So,
How much was that one?
the camera itself, I think that it all set me back around 1 point something.
Okay.
One
Like,
point. I got the camera body on sale, and then the lens itself was like 500. So it was around 1.5, 1.6. But as I said, like the way that I saw it was, okay, this is funded via my
yeah.
Twitch streams.
I'm waiting for that unemployment because it's supposed to be
Yeah,
about 8 grand. So I was like, I'm gonna
yeah, yeah.
take 1,000 of it and buy a Sony
Hmm.
A5100.
Hmm. Hmm.
I think that'll make a big difference quality
Definitely,
wise.
yeah, definitely. It's definitely worthwhile. Um, it's definitely a worthwhile investment. But as I say, like people always come into my stream and they're like, "Have you got any streaming advice?" And I'm like, "Well, just get a webcam and get a mic, and that's it. Like you don't need to think that you have to have
Yeah.
$4,000 setup to be a good streamer. Like it's nothing.
I
That doesn't really matter."
yeah, I've had people say that like I've been thinking about getting a mic and I'm like, well, do you have a camera? Because I would get a camera
Yeah,
first.
yeah, yeah.
It, it
Right.
I've told people I'm like I personally I would not even stream. Like if my webcam died, I wouldn't stream until I got another one.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
no way I could
Exactly.
stream
Right.
without one. I don't
Right.
feel
Right.
like there's
Right.
a connection there.
Yeah.
You know, they got to be able to see you.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly right. Um. Nah. I think. Yeah. There's a lot of. I think we're both, as I said at the start, like we're both fairly on the same page in terms of our thoughts with everything. It's going to be interesting to see how everything goes over the next 6 months. Um, I mean, putting like TikTok and Twitch aside, like even just with life, it's going to
Yeah,
be interesting to see
yeah.
how it all
A lot of
goes.
changes
I mean,
happening.
yeah, 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 exactly. Nah, I have it's 11 o'clock for me now. I have a meeting at 12 p.m.
Okay.
Um, but like I'm happy to like if have you got any what so I guess what I wanted to ask, I had a couple of questions I wanted to ask you. I was thinking about them this morning, but I was interested to know like what I think we were talking about goals before, but like what are your goals for like the next year? Like in terms of what do you want? I mean, obviously it's ever changing, right, with Twitch and
Yeah.
everything. And I know obviously like you've just received news, but like I'm interested to know like what your goals are with Twitch and with TikTok over the next year, because given the volatility of TikTok, like who knows where that's going to be in a year.
Yeah. I mean, so the way that I've been thinking is like, what's the goal? How do I backtrack from that? You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
how can I use that goal to help me get there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's not just like, oh, I would love to be a partner, and we'll see when it happens. It's like, no, you have to
Yeah.
figure out how to get there. So as far as like, what like my main goal right now is probably, yeah, I want to make partner, because then with that comes sponsorship
Yep.
opportunities,
Yep.
which would allow me to do more. Um,
Yep.
so the mindset I have right now is like, what can I do to get there? Because obviously,
Yep.
with what happened today.
Yep.
So my biggest thing right now is like, I need to start putting out more content, whether it's YouTube,
Yep.
whether it's, using Adobe Premiere to make better looking TikTok, because like,
Yep.
I think the gameplay thing is it really is at a point where like, if you're not using Adobe Premiere, your gameplay clips just don't get views.
Yep.
Not unless it's a
Yep.
really good clip, which,
Yep.
it's hit or miss.
Yep.
So there's that. Another goal is to obviously get that camera. That's like a financial goal, I would say, because
Yeah.
um, so the another goal is to have my Twitch name registered as like a S corporation, so that I can
Nice.
fix my stuff up. I'm in the process of that, so I don't get just totally destroyed in taxes when that time comes.
Yep.
Um, and then I would say a long term goal is probably, it would be awesome to get that like Dorito partnership at some point. That's
Yeah, that'd
definitely
be
like one of the
sick.
end goals.
That'd be
Um,
awesome.
because I mean I've been scouting. I've been kind of skimming around, looking. I know it
Yeah.
sounds weird. I've been
Skimming around
skimming
the
around
supermarkets.
Twitch
No,
to
no.
see like who else is like, is there
Yeah.
anybody else trying to get into that like type
Yeah.
of type of a deal? And I don't see anybody else. The
Yeah.
closest thing I've seen is like Bad Bear Gamer really wants to be sponsored by Taco Bell. And I'm
Okay.
like,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
that's
Yeah. Yeah.
similar, but
Yeah.
um,
Shoot your
I
shot,
mean,
right?
yeah, but well, I've been talking to my lawyer, and she's like, the end goal for her is like she wants to help me get set up so that at some point she can go to them as my lawyer and be like, hey,
Yeah.
like, can we do something here?
Yeah.
Like it might
Yeah.
benefit
Yeah. Yeah.
both of us. So,
Yeah.
um,
Definitely. No,
yeah,
it sounds. Yeah. It sounds. It's one of those things where, um, yeah, I think there's you've got a good you've got some good lenses over everything. Like you've got your financial goals, and then I think it's good to break the goals up as well. Like having like long term, short term, medium term, um, is super important as well. It sounds like you got it all. Yeah,
I've
that no,
yeah,
it's I like the sponsorship idea. It's nice.
I've got all
It's a
kinds
nice.
of
It's
goals.
yeah,
As far as like
yeah,
moving into a bigger place so that I can have
yeah,
more time to do stuff, stuff like that. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, yeah, that's those are my
yeah,
main ones, I guess.
yeah, yeah.
What about
No,
you?
and yeah, I think for me, it's like uh, it's all about the partnership is with Twitch would be great, but I think it's all about like okay, how can I make this into something where it's um financially like it's going to be a financially beneficial venture, and I think that I really have given myself till the end of the year to
Yeah,
see if this is going to work. Um, and then obviously with like Envoy Gaming on the side, like the merch brand on the side, um, there's hours put into that as well. So I've got goals for that where we want to, start, an ambassador program for that, and there's a whole lot of work that's going into that, and that's another goal. And then I've got other goals in my life where it's like the thing, the hard thing is like for the past 3 or 4 months, like we've been in uncertainty about when we're actually going to be able to get out and just live our lives.
yeah,
So I think I'll probably reassess once we've sort of gotten out of that once we've sort of gotten out of this lockdown thing, I'll probably have a reassessment of my goals and where I'm at. But I think, yeah, I mean, the last 4 months there's been so much change in my life, and like I think back 6 months ago, I was working full time. Um, Streaming was just a part time thing, and now like it's 6 months later, it's like this is it. Like you're you're giving it everything. So yeah, I think that my goals, yeah, those are sort of my goals in terms of my focuses are going to be on what's beyond partnership, um, and then what's going to work for Envoy Gaming and how to take that, and then there's the lens of like being an Australian and being like it is like an immature market here in Australia.
mm, yeah. That's
Yeah,
interesting. Another thing I would say is another goal. I would probably say, I mean, I guess realistically, like 6 months from now, I would like to be at least averaging around 200 viewers.
Yeah,
That's something else you got
yeah,
to think about.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
like you said, the follower thing is one thing, but I mean,
yeah,
you can have I'm sure you've seen it. You stumble upon people that have 150,000 followers and they
yeah,
have 15 people watching,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you start to wonder like, what did they do wrong?
yeah, yep, 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 yep.
So
That's right. That's the bit. Yeah, it's a. I think to your point, it's all around building communities. I think that when you got a community and you support each other, that's what's going to be the most important thing going forward. I think being able to support each other and know that we're all on a journey together instead of this me versus them thing.
exactly, yeah.
It's a difficult one. But yeah, and I think like the final question I had was I wanted you to give. This is kind of like an odd one, but I was like, I wanted you to give me what sort of one made you want to start this podcast, like Creators Unite. What was sort of the driving, or what was sort of the moment that you're like, oh, this is going to be sick, or did it kind of just happen and you maybe did something and then
Um,
it,
so I've always admired people who do podcasts. So obviously, I watch Joe Rogan. I watch
yep,
PKA. Those are like the two
yep,
main ones I watch. Um,
yep,
I like the feel of the Joe Rogan podcast, but I like the
yeah,
style of the PKA podcast
yeah, okay.
because it's. Do you know PKA?
I've heard of him. I've heard of them.
Like
I
Woody's
don't. I'm
gamer
not
tag
like.
and
Yeah, right, right, right.
yeah,
I'm proficient. I'm a proficient Joe Rogan viewer.
yeah.
But can't say the same about Big M.
So I like the
Yeah,
style of conversation that Joe Rogan does, whereas
yeah,
like the PKA podcast, it's almost like they have some stuff written down to go along with. It's not as
yeah,
natural.
yeah. Okay, okay.
And then it's also like the webcam setup. I feel like that's easier because obviously like Joe Rogan flies people out to like be on his
Oh yeah,
podcast,
yeah, yeah, for
So
sure.
it's just a whole different
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
like vibe. Um, but yeah, kind of combining those two types of podcasts together, I thought that was an interesting idea. The other thing was like I see there are some big streamers that have podcasts, but I've never seen anybody who like started one and then
Yeah,
like legit stuck to it. So
yeah,
I mean, I do realize going into it that it could be a couple hundred episodes before all of a sudden people
yeah,
start watching it. I think
yeah,
each
yeah.
episode averages. I average somewhere around like 20 downloads, but then on YouTube, like I
Nice.
said, I'll get a couple hundred
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome.
views. Which I mean, they can watch it anywhere from like a couple minutes to like like a whole hour or the whole thing.
Yeah,
I know my
yeah,
mom listens to the whole thing, but
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's awesome.
hi
Yeah, yeah.
mom. Uh,
Hi, mom.
but my hope is that I'll continue to grow, and then it'll get
Yeah,
to that point where somebody. I do get people like, "Wait, you have a podcast?" And I'm like, "Yeah," and then
yeah,
they go
yeah.
check it out, and all of a sudden I notice like each one of my podcasts on YouTube it'll get like an extra 10 views that day or something. People
Yeah,
start watching it. Um, but the idea is that there'll be those few people who are like, "Oh, cool, I like this guy. I'll go check out his podcast,"
yeah,
and that they're gonna notice that there's all these creators that they also watch that they can go see how we interact with each other, and
yeah, yeah.
I
Behind the
I feel
scenes.
like hopefully nothing but positivity can come out of this.
Yeah, 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 for sure.
I feel like it's good
100%.
good way to network, but also a good way for both of our audiences to get to know us better.
Yeah.
You know,
No, exactly
so
right. Exactly right. And I'll be pushing this out to my community as well.
that's awesome, man.
So it'll be awesome. It'll be awesome.
Yeah, I never really
Yeah.
asked anybody to like do that.
No, no, no.
Kind of leave it on
100%.
them.
Ah,
So
definitely, definitely. I think it's always nice to, um, yeah. I think it's always a nice thing to, as I was saying, sort of like a little bit behind the scenes, get to know the person,
absolutely.
which is really important as well. But yeah, as I said, it's been I really enjoyed it. Like I think it's always nice to get to know people than just more than what they post on a certain social media or
Yeah.
platform or in their Twitch streams. It's
I do love that it feels like everybody I've had on, like I can go hop into their Twitch and it's like, hey, how are you doing? Like we
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of know
yeah,
each other a little bit now, so
yeah.
it's cool, man. Like,
Nah, nah,
yeah, no, I'm happy with how it's going. I just got to
nah.
figure out how to
So
market it better, I think.
yeah, yeah.
Which
That's for sure. So
figure it
it's
out.
a tricky one
Yeah,
to market it. Yeah,
it's a whole nother
and
element.
yeah, yeah, and then you think of like editors for for that as well. Like it's yeah, a whole lot of different aspects. But yeah, there's a lot of opportunity there as well.
Yeah, well, I mean,
So
I would
awesome.
love to have you on again in the future,
Yeah.
catch up
No,
and
no, no.
see how we've grown.
I'd be definitely down. Yeah, for sure. It'd be good to
Hopefully,
like a checkpoint in like a a couple of months when TikTok doesn't actually exist anymore and
yeah,
like
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think
crazy.
a really important thing to do is diversify. You never know. Like, I
Yeah,
mean, with the whole TikTok ban,
yeah,
everybody was thinking it could have disappeared overnight, you know?
yep,
So,
exactly,
yeah, don't wait for it to before you start putting your eggs in different
exactly.
baskets, you know?
Yeah,
So, that's
exactly.
part of it too. Um,
No, that's
on an
right.
end note, um, I don't know how much you paid attention to it, but YouTube is launching something similar to TikTok.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
and
yeah, yeah.
then Instagram
Yep,
Reels,
yeah.
they just
Instagram Reels.
totally
Yeah.
revamped it a couple days ago. So I might start
Oh,
posting on
really?
there. Yeah,
Okay,
they're taking it
sweet.
seriously now.
All
So,
right.
I mean, it seems like honestly what you'll be able to do is just take the same TikTok video and repost it
Yeah,
on
yeah,
there.
and put it
That's probably
across,
what I'm
which
gonna
is good.
do.
Yep.
Um, so yeah,
No, that
that's
sounds good.
something to think
Something to
about
keep an
also.
eye on. Always things to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I think YouTube
Nah.
probably has some good potential.
Oh
YouTube's
yeah,
got
if there's yeah,
YouTube's
definitely.
kind of got its
Yeah.
hands in everything right now. It seems like.
Oh yeah. That it's always yeah. That's always the case. You'd be like, wait, they own that? Really? I didn't even know that. Or like
Yeah,
that. Yeah. That's the it's crazy to think how many different avenues like brands like companies like YouTube and Twitch and Amazon have their hands in.
yeah.
It's crazy.
I think it's gonna come down to YouTube and Twitch head to head. I
Yeah,
think Facebook
definitely.
Gaming's it's not a
No,
joke, but it's
no,
just not taken seriously.
no.
There's like a
It's not.
select few.
It's no. Yeah,
That's about
it's strange. Yeah, I mean Facebook in general. Not really.
it.
It's kind of weird. Kind of feels a little bit
Yeah,
like boomer, boomer sort of.
yeah.
It's
Really
weird.
does.
Very strange. But nah, thanks for having me, man. Like I've really enjoyed it. As I said, like I think getting to know people, you know, behind the screen sounds so boomer behind the screen, but yeah, basically getting to know people, yeah, behind the scenes is I've really enjoyed conversation. It's I think we've had some pretty. I know that I'm going to go away and have a think about some of the stuff we've said because it's all there's been some really good suggestions you've had as well, which I haven't really thought about before,
Yeah, I
which is
might try the
awesome.
TikTok live thing. So
Yeah, yeah, I'm going to try
see.
the getting rid of the starting screen soon screen. Just go
Yeah,
straight into
but
it.
hopefully you notice the same thing I do. I
Yeah.
just feel like I retained an extra like 10 or 20 because it's
Okay.
like you're there and doing something already.
Yeah.
They're not
Sweet.
like,
Sweet.
oh, I gotta wait 2 minutes. You know, it's like,
Yeah. No, done.
yeah,
Sounds perfect. Sounds like a good thing. I'll have to when we reconvene. I'll be keen to come on again at some point. We'll have to. I'll let you know how it goes.
yeah, cool,
No,
man. I like I
awesome.
said, I hope I look forward to interacting with you more
Yeah.
on all the
Likewise,
platforms
buddy.
and
I
good talk,
really,
man.
really appreciate it, mate. Awesome
Yeah,
stuff. All the best. And once again, like, keep your head up about everything. Like, you're a fantastic content creator. So don't ever, and yeah, whatever the result was today, or however it is in the future, don't, yeah, just keep at it because you're a quality creator. So I really do
thanks, man.
appreciate
It means a lot.
reaching out as
Likewise.
well. That's good stuff.
Take care, man.
Thanks, mate. All right, cheers.